Decades ago, in the early 1980s, the internet was born. And with it came HTML, a way to format information on a web browser, and CSS, a way to style this information to make it more appealing. With HTML and CSS, anyone with access to the internet could distribute information to other browsers. But there was something missing, an easy way for people to interact with the information given to them. Thus, JavaScript was created. With JavaScript, a whole new world was opened up for the internet. It allowed for people to interact with the pages displayed on their browsers. A popular example most can relate to is the ability to add friends on social networking websites. By clicking on the new button, JavaScript code is executed and a friend request will be sent to the other user. In 1995, JavaScript was created by a group of guys at Netscape in a matter of 10 days. At this point, however, JavaScript was known as Mocha. The name was later changed to LiveScript, which caused problems with trademarks, and finally JavaScript, which helped them gain popularity because Java, another popular language, was getting a lot of attention at the time. In 2003, JavaScript ran into a little bit of trouble when Microsoft decided not to implement a proper version of the language in Internet Explorer, a popular browser at the time. This caused a lot of turmoil for programmers because they had to figure out ways to make their websites work well on multiple browsers. Eventually, Internet Explorer had to allow for more JavaScript features to work, especially after open source libraries such as Dojo and jQuery started coming out in 2005, making JavaScript one of the most popular languages again. Since then, JavaScript has evolved even more by introducing the Node.js platform, which allows programmers to use the language on the server side. JavaScript has many powerful constructs that make it Turing complete. First, let's take a look at the syntax that lets us organize our programs. All statements in JavaScript are separated by semicolons so the program knows when to execute the right code. In the example, the semicolons make it easy to see when each statement ends. In our next example, we use 2 forward slashes to tell the program not to execute anything after them, so we can leave comments in our code. In the previous examples, we declared a variable with the value of 5. To break this down, we use the keyword var to indicate we are declaring a variable. This is followed by an identifier, which has a unique name. Next, we have the assignment operator, which allows us to store the value to the right of it to the identifier on the left. The value can be one of many different data types. For example, it could be a number, which in JavaScript can be written with or without decimals, getting rid of the need for types like float or double, or it could be a string, which is written in either double or single quotations. Another useful type in JavaScript is a date. This can be written as a string, like the first example, or a number, like the second. Both indicate the same date, except the number is how many milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. Arrays in JavaScript are lists of values written in square brackets separated by commas. To access a value in an array, you have to use the syntax shown in this example. In this case, fruits 0 will give us apples. One cool thing about arrays in JavaScript is the fact that they can store different values. This makes an array an object itself, which allows it to have its own methods such as .length and .sort, which give us the number of items and sorts the list alphabetically, respectively. A lot like many other languages, JavaScript makes use of both for loops and while loops to repeat code. A for loop iterates through a block of code a specified number of times, while a while loop will continue to iterate until its conditional statement is false. Also, like many other languages, JavaScript loops have break and continue commands to stop a loop or skip an iteration. Conditionals are another familiar construct provided by JavaScript. If, else if, and else allows us to evaluate a statement and let the program decide which block of code to run. Our example shows code that prints out a specific message depending on the grade. For conditionals with a lot of conditions, switches are available with JavaScript too, but for the sake of time, I will leave you with that. I suggest you visit some sort of online resource to learn more. While all this code is useful, it can't execute unless something happens to tell it to. This something is called an event. Some of the most recurring events are when the page loads or when a user clicks a button. As mentioned in the overview of the history of JavaScript, many libraries have been made available for programmers. One of the most popular of this is jQuery. jQuery allows for programmers to more easily handle events and manipulate HTML, while still using all of the main JavaScript constructs. Using JavaScript and jQuery, I was able to start working on a social networking project for my business called Powered. Powered is a network for both students and teachers that allows them to connect in ways that can improve the learning environment. Here, a user can sign up as a student or a teacher, or sign in with an existing account. Let's make a teacher account. Because I have not set up the home or connect features quite yet, the browser has directed me to the courses page I do have set up. If you notice in the upper right hand corner, right below the user's profile information, there is a button that allows the teacher to create a page for their course. By clicking on it, a modal pops up and the teacher can plug in the course's basic information. The course page is now available in their list of courses. An overview of the courses available for the teacher to update that will be complete with a timeline and everything, much like a syllabus. For now though, we can only add a course description. For now, to allow students to access the course from their profile, a special code is given to the teacher to give to their students. I'm going to go ahead and copy this for the next example. The teacher can also add assignments to the page so their students know when things are due. By clicking on the plus button, a modal pops up and I can choose between different types of homework assignments or tests. Let's make a simple homework assignment. And by clicking on the arrow next to the profile name, the user is allowed to log out, which allows me to sign into my current student profile. Currently, all of my courses I have added show up in my list. To join the course my new teacher just added, I click on the Join Course button and paste the code that the teacher gives me. I'm now able to view the page and see all the upcoming assignments and tests, but I do not have editing capabilities. So this is the program I've created so far. To implement Powered, I used a backend system called Parse that holds all my objects and their data. So here we have all my users, all my courses, and all the to-do items. jQuery was essential to display correct courses because after querying my data, jQuery allowed me to create all the buttons for each course with each course information. To make the course pages, I used a method called queryStrings that sent the course's unique ID in the URL, just like this. And then jQuery was able to read that course ID, query the information, and fill in the HTML format. Overall, JavaScript and jQuery made it really easy to make this and seem like very powerful tools that I'll probably continue to use for the rest of my life.